I'm in a very fortunate position to own visionaryfragrances.com, my sample business, which over the last few years has really grown in size, and as such I've been able to amass a huge collection of fragrances. Now, these are 8 fragrances that really stand out in my collection. All the ones I've got, all the ones I've tried, these all have something special about them, and they stand out as something different that adds some kind of versatility to my collection. Hopefully this video will help you, and most of these fragrances are really expensive, so it's worth bearing that in mind before you start watching the video. So let's start off with number 1. There's actually 10 fragrances here, but 8 because we're the last fragrance, we're combining into 3, and you'll find out why at the end. So this one is from a line of fragrances which I think is really special, and they are not often spoken about by other fragrance reviewers, and that is the Carolina Herrera Confidential line. This is Nightfall Patchouli. Now they also do another one called Mystery Tobacco, which I do have, which is similar to Parfums de Marly Carlisle, but I'm going to save that for another video. So Nightfall Patchouli is, in my opinion, is the best patchouli fragrance that I have tried. If you know what patchouli smells like and you've smelt it before, you will smell it in here straight away. But if you don't, patchouli can smell different depending on what type of patchouli it is. Sometimes it comes across as kind of green and earthy. Sometimes it can actually smell like dark chocolate. In here, it's a very easy to wear patchouli note because it's mixed with sweetness and these lovely spicy notes like cinnamon, for example. This is a beautiful fragrance, and I love the name Nightfall Patchouli because it makes you think like wearing this on a night out, and I think that's where this works really well. On a night out, this would really shine. This is Nightfall Patchouli by Carolina Herrera. Now, the next one I actually got for free about 18 months ago from Amouage, but since then I've bought various new bottles because of the sample website, and the fact I got this for free is no impact on what I think of this fragrance. This is Royal Tobacco by Amouage. This is a very thick and quite challenging fragrance. Not for everyone and not for every day. This is a special fragrance for a night out, one where you really want to be smelt. It's very heavy and dense, and so for that reason, I think it's a winter-based perfume. I wouldn't wear this in any other situation. This is walking around outside in the winter. That's when I would like to wear this because it is so warming and so dense that I can't imagine wearing this in a kind of hot environment or inside unless you're going really light on the sprays. This is very resinous. There's lots going on in here. It's a really resinous but semi-sweet fragrance. There's actually a nice bit of sweetness in here from vanilla, but it has lots of resins and also has this beautiful smooth tobacco note. That's another good word to describe this fragrance, is it's very smooth. Now, Tommy Shelby, one of my favorite fictional characters, I would imagine him wearing a fragrance like this. And by the way, performance of this is excellent. Now let's move on to a new fragrance release. I didn't have much hopes of this one when it first came out because Single Malt by Kilian is a fantastic fragrance that's been discontinued. Luckily, I own a bottle of it somewhere, and it's really beautiful. In terms of boozy fragrances, Single Malt is fantastic. So when this was released, I thought, well, it's not going to be that good, but this is Old Fashioned by Kilian. Actually, there are some similarities to Single Malt, the fragrance I was just talking about. You can tell when you smell this that it has some of the same ingredients as Apple Brandy. It's another fragrance by Kilian. So they've used like, you know, a similar kind of scent profile, definitely some crossover of ingredients in here. But it's a beautiful sweet whiskey base. I actually get like an apple note off the top, even though Old Fashioned is supposed to be like orange or the zest of orange. This one smells to me kind of like almost apple-like, but the sweetness of the whiskey is just beautiful. And I think if we're talking about boozy fragrances, this is one of the best boozy fragrances that I've tried. This is Old Fashioned by Kilian. Number 4 from BDK. There's a couple that I could have made this list from BDK, but this is Soir Extrait. That's definitely not how you pronounce it, but I'll show you it here. This is Soir Extrait. I love this because it has an addictive sweetness to it and doesn't smell like anything in my collection. This is really sweet. It almost smells like fruit juice. It's that sweet and syrup-like. But to me, it smells like a kind of peach smell. So it does maybe come across a little bit feminine, you could say. But I think to be honest, it is probably unisex. But I love the dense, sugary sweetness that this brings. Lasts a long time, really good performance. And when you want that kind of sort of gourmand type smell and just want that really nice fruitiness, this is a fragrance that I like to go to a lot. Another one you could go for by BDK is up here somewhere. Gris Chanel Extrait. That's another really unique fragrance from them. Both of these are really beautiful. Right, moving on. I told you there were some good fragrances in this list. I mean, this list of fragrances I think is an excellent list, and all of these fragrances I really love and I wear a lot myself. This next one is Tom Ford Black Orchid Parfum. This one is one of those head turner, notice me fragrances. Ones that are good to wear on a night out. Ones where you want to wear a fragrance that cuts through the other smells that are around you. And this is a very unique scent DNA. I mean, this fragrance, this one independently is not unique because it smells similar to Black Orchid EDT, Black Orchid EDP. I'm sure there's been some other flankers of Black Orchid, but Black Orchid, the whole DNA of it is so unique, and there's nothing else on the market that I've tried. And I love this because it just smells so different. This one, this is the Parfum version. What I like about this is it adds a rum note. There's a kind of booziness to this, which is not in the other Black Orchid fragrances. And I think that's why this smells a little bit more masculine to me than the other ones do. But there's a lot going on in here. There's rum, there's patchouli, there's like a floral note to it. It's really interesting, it's different, and it's a very strong and high-performing fragrance. This is one you want to wear when you're going out and you want people to notice you. Now we're down to the last three. Oud Minérale, this is the 2023 release. This is the signature version. Never tried the private blend version. Now I love this because this balances like an oud note with kind of seaweed and salt. So if you imagine standing on a beach, but it's not sunny, it's a gloomy day, so somewhere in England, like, you know, Cornwall during October, you're standing on the beach and it's windy and it's dark, and that's the kind, and the smell you're getting from the sea air, the sea breeze air, the saltiness, the seaweed, that smell is mixed with a kind of oud note, but a really pleasant, easy to wear oud note, nothing divisive or really challenging. That's what you get with Oud Minérale. And this is a fresh fragrance technically, although it doesn't smell really aquatic and fresh. It has a kind of almost dirty scent profile to it because of that kind of seaweed note, but it smells quite realistic as a fragrance is supposed to smell, like standing by the ocean. But as a fresh fragrance, this is one of the longest lasting fresh fragrances I've got. And I just find it so interesting and unique. Now for the winter, By the Fireplace, this is the penultimate fragrance, By the Fireplace. I think this is a really special fragrance because it doesn't smell like any other winter fragrance that I've tried. It has this unique photorealistic quality of actually sitting by a fireplace with the kind of burnt woods, the smokiness, the marshmallows, toasted marshmallows, and this just gives me the winter feeling every time I smell it, and for that reason it's in this list. It's unique, it's photorealistic, and I love it. This is By the Fireplace. Now we're moving on to the last fragrance, but the last three technically. Now there's three fragrances to mention, all made by the same perfumer. The first one is Essential Parfums Bois Imperial. If you haven't tried anything from this brand, you really should try and get your nose on some, because they offer really high quality but really affordable niche fragrances. Quentin Bisch has made loads of popular fragrances. I think he owns this brand, or he's the perfumer for this brand anyway. Bois Imperial is an excellent signature fragrance. You can wear this all year round, and it almost acts as like a second skin scent to you. So it's a fragrance that you spray on and then you'll kind of forget about it, but it's still there. It just becomes sort of part of you, if that makes sense. It becomes, your skin will smell like a really clean, woody scent that just goes on for hours. This is Bois Imperial. Now, if you love this, they've just released an extrait version. This is Bois Imperial Extrait. This one is not as affordable. You only get a 30ml bottle, and it costs around £100, 110 euros, something like that, similar to Nazamato's actually prices. So this one is not very affordable, but it's beautiful. This is a much more ambery and sweeter version of Bois Imperial. But this one you can buy for around £70, 80 euros, something like that for 100ml. Brilliant. And if you like this scent profile, another fragrance that Quentin Bisch has made is Ganymede, and this one is expensive. It's a really expensive niche fragrance, but this is stunning. It's so unique and different, and it's one of those fragrances that you smell and you just know that you're smelling something unique and different. That's how at least I thought when I tried this. It really blew me away when I tried this because I'd never tried anything like this. Now this is similar in a way to Bois Imperial, but there's a lot of differences as well. It's not like you only need to own one, or for example, if you don't like Ganymede, you won't like Bois Imperial. That's not true. There are enough differences between them. Ganymede is a very I think, a futuristic fragrance. To me, it smells really modern, really futuristic. It's not exactly a natural smelling fragrance. It almost has this kind of weird mineral note, and it's hard to describe what you're actually smelling. It's like you're smelling a few different fragrances in one. It's kind of green, it's floral, it's sweet. It has this really kind of effervescent mineral note. It's really hard to describe, but it's one of those fragrances that I think everyone should try just to see what you think of it. So these were 8 or 10 unique fragrances I have in my collection that all do something different to other fragrances that I've got. And let me know, out of these 8 or 10, which one is your favorite? See you soon.